Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Before we dive in, let me ask one question. Do you know who Thomas Alva Edison is?
Yeah.
Almost everyone would know who he is because he's famous for light bulbs, movies, or his telephone. Today, I'm going to dive right into him and we'll learn some dark sides of him that the books don't teach you guys. My presentation is divided into 6, but actually it's divided into 7 because at the last part we're going to have a quiz about my presentation. First, we're going to learn about his childhood, his first business, his inventions, his helper, his rivalry, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about DC vs AC, which I will explain later on. Okay, let's start. His childhood. He was born in 1847 and he passed in 1931. He made 193 inventions before he passed away. He was born in Ohio State. He was the youngest in 7 of his family. Because he was a curious little boy, he wasn't suited for the school in time because the school only emphasized in memorizing everything they taught. So he didn't went to school after just going there 3 months. But his mother helped him and she homeschooled him. She especially emphasized in reading. However, when he was reading a book, he liked reading books, and one time a book had changed his entire life. The book was a school of compendium of nature and experimental philosophy, and it was written by Richard Green Parker, a famous experimenter and writer. After he read the book, he learned to write and read by himself. And even though he was really young, he tried to copy the experiments in the book. After his parents saw this action from him, they made a small experimenting room in the attic for him. He was really having his time. He spent there for half a day. However, when he was only 12, his family's circumstances gone bad, and he had to sell candies and newspapers in the train. His first business, as I mentioned, his family circumstances was badly off, and he had to work at trains selling candies and newspapers. His first business is selling newspapers. He made newspapers in the name of Weekly Herald, containing a lot of information like how much dairy products are these days, who died and who was born, and what time his train comes and leaves, sort of things like that. But that company couldn't last a year because he was only 15 and really young. There wasn't many information that he could write on. However, one day, he saved the station master's son by stroke of luck, and the station master said he would grant one of his wishes. He asked him to teach him telegraphy, which is like Morse code, which was really hot in those days because there was a war going on and they had to translate the codes they had sent and had to send messages really quickly. However, an unfortunate came because one day he lost one of his hearings and couldn't listen really carefully. But when he recalled this moment, he said it was a real advantage because he could only focus on the codings that came and went. His inventions. As you know, he made a light bulb, telephone, or stock ticker, but first, when he was 22 years old, he made an automatic voting machine. However, it wasn't sold really publicly because people didn't need it that much. So this time he realized that, I need to make something that people really need. So he made a stock ticker, which tells you about the economy, and telephone. Before he made this, there was already a telephone, but he kind of improved the telephone because he made a hole that you can speak in and listen at the same time. And gramophone, as you can see at the picture, is that machine which you can record your voice and listen it again. And most of you might know his light bulb. Before him, there was already a light bulb, but it couldn't last long because of the technology. But he finally found a way that could last 5 days. His helper. Because he was really poor and to make his inventions he needed a lot of money, he was finding a helper to help him. When J.P. Morgan Chase, his future helper, saw him at the newspaper, he thought that, oh, he's gonna make it big, so I must help him. And this is a picture of J.P. Morgan Chase. They went through many adventures to make inventions and to place light bulbs in cities. However, his rival had appeared. His rivalry name was Westinghouse. He used AC, while Thomas Edison used DC. DC is direct current and AC is alternate current, which I will explain later in my PPT. Because Westinghouse also needed some helpers, and he needed someone to cooperate and have ideas too. That's why he cooperated with Nikola Tesla. He made the engine for the future Tesla car, and that's why Elon Musk put the name Tesla in the car. As I mentioned, I'm going to talk about DC vs AC. Edison used DC, direct current, and Westinghouse used AC, alternate current. The biggest difference of them both is that DC can't control the intensity of the electricity, but AC can control it. So people were used to using DC, but after Westinghouse introduced AC to the world, they were really shocked that they can control it. However, as I mentioned, I'm going to tell you a dark side that doesn't teach you in books. Edison actually used AC to kill animals to advertise that AC is dangerous, but DC is safer for humans. He killed horses, dogs, and even humans by using AC. One day, a dentist asked him to make an electric chair to kill prisoners really quickly and less painfully than they did by blade or guns. Of course he used AC, and he didn't mention his name because if he did, then his company would fail. He put a name to the people who got shocked, and he called them Westinghouse did because they got shocked by AC, which what Westinghouse made. But in the end, Westinghouse AC won. Do you know that we always use AC these days? It doesn't matter if you plug in plus or minus, right? That's the AC that we're using every day. As I mentioned, I'm going to have a quiz about my presentation, but first, do you have any questions? If not, let's start. Question number 1. What current did Edison and Westinghouse use? Name each.
Edison used DC and Westinghouse used AC.
Yes. Number 2. What current won and who created it? Number 1, AC, J.P. Morgan. Number 2, DC, Tesla. Number 3, AC, Westinghouse. Number 3. Yes. The answers to question number 1 is Edison used DC and Westinghouse used AC. And number 2's answer is number 3. Edison once said, I have a lot of things to do, however my life is short, so I need to hurry. He said this because he wanted to help people more and improve his country for peoples in the future. I totally agree with this because I also want to do a lot of things, but I don't know when I'll die, so I need to hurry and make that come true. Thank you for listening to my presentation.